Hello everyone, welcome back to the Law Omnibus. I am the Law Omnibus, and today we are going to be discussing Corvus Corax. At first, I need to come out and say it. I am sorry for taking such a long hiatus away from the channel. I simply fell into a different hyperfixation. So, Corvus, like his brothers, was born on Holy Terra during the scattering, he and his brothers were scattered across the universe. Corvus ended up on the moon Lycaos, where he was raised by Natsuri Ephorina. Corvus grew up to be a revolutionary for the workers of Lycaos. Corvus became a master of hit-and-run tactics and fast but hard-hitting warfare, allowing him and the revolutionaries to get the most amount of damage out of the attacks while receiving the lowest amount of casualties. Corvus grew up on the moon Lycaos, the desolate moon to the technologically advanced planet Kai-Vahar, where he and his people were forced into slavery to mine the minerals required for the city-sized factories. Under the never-ending watch, the heavily armed guards, the people of Lycaos, from criminals to politicians who spoke out against the mining and the cruel treatment of the people, were forced to work in the mines and failed to meet their quotas, provided a secondary resource to the people of Kai-Vahar, and that was manpower. The people who failed to meet their quotas from the mines were turned into soldiers, not given a choice, and they were simply told, "This is your battlefield. Die in it." One day, a slave girl named Natsuri found a white-skinned child who would become Corax, or in the tongue of their people, the Deliverer. Corax was raised with heavy training, emphasizing hit-and-run tactics, hand-to-hand combat, and urban warfare, among many more, while under the nose of their oppressors. Since his youth, Corvus was trained to think as a leader and a rebel. He was tasked with forming teams of fighters and promoting the best of those men to the leaders of squads. In the infancy of the rebellion, Corvus began a massive stockpile of weapons hidden among numerous caches that were all along Lycaos. His campaign started with psychological warfare, building support for his rebellion by staging riots and strikes for the workers in the mines. The rebellion's power. With the rising support for the rebels and the constant strikes and riots was straining the morale of the garrison of the oppressors. This was because Corvus and his forces struck at opportune times and security points, disabling certain areas from being able to overwhelm the rebellion. As the rulers of Kai-Vahar struck back, Corvus was ready for this event. By outmaneuvering and ambushing them on Lycaos with his best men, he took his home moon after the Tech Guild cities fell to civil war. The Emperor finds Corvus. As Corvus took over with atomic mining charges, disabling the attacks and counterattacks of the militia and the armies of the people of Kai-Vahar, the Emperor came forward. And from that day on, the moon that Corvus grew up on was renamed Deliverance, because his people were now free. It was after a day and night that Corvus was appointed the Primarch of the Raven Gods. It isn't known what was said, but the Emperor agreed to Corvus's one demand, that his father must bring peace to Kaivaha. As the Horus Heresy happened, it was Logar who got under the skin of Corvus the most. And at the massacre of Istvan V, it was Corvus who hunted Logar throughout the void, in fact becoming mutated by it and gaining a shadowy crow form.